Hello there. Welcome to the Oblivious Maximus podcast. We're back.
We are back.
It's number 2 now.
Number 2, or is the first one 0?
The first one might be 0. In this episode, we definitely talk a lot like it's number 1.
It's number 1, yeah.
Because we recorded it first. And then we figured some more stuff out since then.
Yes. Well, we jumped the gun with a guest, but it was good timing with our guest.
Yeah.
So as you're about to hear about, Callum has got an awesome exhibition coming up. He tells us all about it. He'll tell you all the details for it, but it is called Callum Preston's Video Shop. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
That sounds right. If it's not,
You'll find out in 30 seconds.
yeah, but you can find Callum online, obviously on Instagram. He's an artist, a good mate of ours. We talk about music. We talk about the recent NOFX gig.
Heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters. And yeah, it's a sick chat. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, not too much fucking around. Enjoy the episode. I'm going to start saying this because podcasts say it now than they didn't previously when I used to do them, but share this thing around, like and subscribe. That's what they say.
Follow us on Spotify.
I've already sworn in the intro, so that means I can't monetize this, so you know I'm doing this for no...
Maybe we bleep it. I want to monetize.
Yeah, let's monetize. That's why we're into this now.
Can't say anything crook in the first
10 minutes?
10 minutes, I think it is, yeah. I've learned that from the Stab
yeah.
podcast.
But yeah, so enjoy this episode with Callum Preston.
Cheers.
We're back, baby. Me.
You are back. I'm Edition.
Callum's here again.
Callum.
I never left.
I would say this is the 3 people who've been on this podcast more than any other people. Me being the host.
It's just the people that are at your house the most.
Yeah.
Of any of the guests.
And also, I think the podcast that I've done, maybe you've been on as well. You're probably collective, the
that's true.
most guested person for us individually.
Old last minute Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing this again.
Man, thank you guys. I'm so psyched that you're back. I've got another pod to add back into my rotation with fresh content.
Yeah, well...
Help you out on the tools.
Yeah, well, it's getting grim when you get through them and you're into the the repackaged breakfast radio pods. Because I signed up, to a few of them early on and then starts playing and it's basically just everything minus the traffic reports.
Well,
But sometimes there's some good stuff.
Bit of Kate Ritchie, Joel Creasy.
Yeah, Marty Sheargold. He's good though.
Is he back from his...
Yeah, well, it was Limo for a while. He's back. Don't ask, mate.
Don't ask why he was away. Something happened. Something happened at the grand final. No one can know what.
No.
I was about to say, as someone who's not that into this area of, media, I was like, didn't that guy get cancelled? Just in my head. But anyway, that's
Nah, just took a little holiday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we
here
better
we
save
are.
that in case he ever wants to come on and talk about death metal.
True. But, it's great to finally get in a room with 2 other straight white blokes and just solve the world's problems.
Just hammer it out. Really get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Women, what are they about?
Yeah, here we are.
Thanks for coming on, Callum. Just for the uninitiated, can you tell us a little bit who you are? What are you about? What are your dreams?
Well, it appears top 5 friends of you guys as far as availability for podcasting goes.
Yep.
Always have been.
Top 20 outside of that, I hope. But we all know each other through music.
Yeah,
specifically the genre of hardcore, metal, punk, and adjacent.
Yep.
I played music for a long time. I still do, but not necessarily in that style. But I work as an artist and designer. Have done a lot of music-based design over the years, stuff for Aaron's projects, video content for your comedy projects.
You did a music video for me one time.
Music video, yeah.
And for me.
That's true. Yeah, jeez. Yep. All the invoices still pending. But yeah, so
It's all goodwill kind of stuff.
yeah, I'm a maker in general. I think that's sort of where I've landed, artist / maker, because I still do a little bit in every sort of thing, and I often document the projects that I'm making through video and photo as well.
Maker, not creator, or sometimes creator.
Well, you mean like content creator? Because
That's where that
That's a title now. Huh?
yeah.
it's a job title officially, and it's probably one of the highest titles that I ever hear when I'm working in schools. It's like, what do you want to be?
Content creator.
Yeah, YouTuber. Yeah. Is there a Mrs. Beast? You know, that's the question. But yeah, so yeah, general freelance creative here in Melbourne, and yeah, that's really connected me to a lot of other friends' projects, which is awesome because it's nice to feel involved in that way.
Well, it's funny that like music has become it has been such a big thing to throw out from, like starting in that. Like I guess from playing drums to making things for big brands. Things like that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think we've probably covered it on earlier ones talking about design with music, but the brands always copy the culture, which is music, whether that's hip hop or metal or whatever. And, you know, you go into Target now and half the T-shirts are licensed band merchandise because they spent years just kind of making kind of band shirts that, you know, that said Texas or whatever.
We got to get the actual Metallica in.
Yeah. What we need is a license for Guns N' Roses. And so, I think design for brands and fashion and, you know, products, it looks to music, because music is, well, independent music is like true creative freedom. There's no sort of agenda or label involved necessarily to stifle that creativity. So
that's often where a lot of things start as well. Like
for sure,
kick off.
Well, I mean, look at the Misfits skull. You know, it's basically the Nike tick of merchandise.
I'm always hearing that.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, Jerry Only's always saying, "Just do it."
The last time I saw the Backstreet Boys play, AJ, the bad boy, was wearing a leather vest. Obviously, bad boy.
Yeah.
With a Diamante Misfit skull on the back.
Yeah. Michael Graves era, for sure.
And I was just like, man, Danzig got no idea that's up there.
Yeah.
Because if he did, he'd be chasing down that coin.
You got to do Misfit skull with a Nike tick through it or something. That'd be dope.
Well, whatever the TM. The TM pattern over it. Yeah.
That's sick.
So so I'm a maker and I'm here, and I think we had to talk a little bit about my making stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess just music wise, we're going to chat to you about like I guess big things in punk have been happening lately. You went to NOFX. How was that?
Did I? I was revved up.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't care. In the lead up, I was like, I'll get a ticket. A bunch of my friends were going. I was like,
that's what everyone was saying. Everyone was like, oh, whatever.
Because I've seen him and I hated him. Like I've seen him many times, and I loved him when I was younger. And then as I got older and saw him, 2014, 2017, at different times I've seen him, and I'm like, you're taking the piss. You don't want to be here.
Yeah.
They sort of had a disdain for their audience at different times, but like they were all going through shit. If you read,
I think they have a disdain for each other too.
Definitely, yeah. And if you read the book, a disdain for themselves, like all of these things come into play. But then I don't know, those magic words of final tour, it sort of changes everything if you believe it's the final tour, which with them I actually do.
Yeah.
Had they done a final before?
No. This was it. Like they called it at 40.
They announced this like 4 years ago, right? Like there was like a big runway.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think they were very deliberate about like, don't ask for another one. Kind of like, this is where it is and that's the end of it.
But it does say final tour. Doesn't necessarily mean they won't play again.
Yeah.
But they have their own like Punk in Drublic festival, all this stuff. They're going to pop up for sure. But there was like, and so many people I spoke to who I've known for 20 years through music are like, I just was like, can I not be there the last time they play in Melbourne? Like, I think I should. And so I just backed it up 2 nights in a row. Bloody great. Loved it. Every second.
How was the pit on the second night?
Warm.
Stinky?
Nah, a little stinky. Old. I was in the younger end of the scale, and I'm 39.
That checks out.
Some old heads there.
Yeah.
But the band are nearly 60.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So, but they sounded the best I've seen them, definitely.
That's pretty sick for a last tour. Like, and that seems to be the consensus. Everyone was like, they wanted to be there. They
Yeah.
really put on a show, and for a last tour, that's pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Kiss, backing track until people complain.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, and
Motley Crue.
seeing Kiss on the last ever tour, which is still like up for debate.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
likely they'll be back again in a
Yeah,
year. But
yeah.
they were definitely like that was the thing. You know, I think the tickets that I had for the Kiss one were 2020. Obviously, that gets cancelled for years.
Why?
I don't know. Something happened.
Some bullshit.
Visas. Yeah.
Pangolin, something.
Some fake bullshit. This is the pod, man.
Bring
it up.
Bring it up.
Bring it up.
Yeah, but it just gets cancelled a bunch of times, and then out they come. They start doing the tour, and it's immediately just the best thing ever on Instagram and Twitter and stuff because people are like, I think it was like the third show. They did that thing where they were playing in Austria, and the video guy put up the Australian flag behind them and it said, "Thank you, Austria," with the Australian flag. And then
We're off.
let's go, final ever tour. And then 4 days later, they were like, oh, they're not playing. It's a backing track.
Yeah.
And then it was tour was on hold for a month, and then they came back out and sounded way worse. And it was oh, they're playing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was better before. Yeah, it's impressive that NOFX, for all of their flaws, were as great as they were. So I was
That's
pumped.
sick.
A lot of our friends were there, really getting into it. I wasn't the only one who was revved up a little bit beyond their years.
It's good to see.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Nice moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you're playing...
Briggs and Goxie on stage behind.
Yeah, Goxie gunning for that doors. MC and Clown. Clowns.
Clown from
Corn.
It was a solo show.
No.
Goxie on his phone most of the set.
Yeah, I've heard a
on
lot of
stage.
reports about that. This is the second podcast I've talked about that on this week.
But no, yeah, it was awesome, and lots of people there. A few comics, actually, different people
Mike Goldstein
talking about it too. But yeah, so what else has happened in punk, Ben? Tell me.
Nothing. I guess what music are you playing at the moment? You're playing in Eaten by Dogs.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Eaten by Dogs. We're at about, I guess, 11 years as a band. 2 full-length records.
Sold out shows at pub front bars.
Yeah, we can sell out a 60-person sit-down front bar.
Drop of a hat.
One Sunday a year.
What was that pub we went to where you played?
The Union.
I always
in
forget
Brunswick.
the name of that.
Yeah.
That was sold out every week.
Yeah, no, we had post-COVID, we had we got a purple patch going on because I think it's good sitting around
And it was at
depressed that the world is shut down music.
Yeah.
So during COVID, I think
it was the perfect time too.
Yeah, it was
It
good.
was 5 p.m. on Sundays.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's our
Rocked.
golden era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back. Nothing booked right now, but yeah, we would love to write some songs, but at 11 years in, everyone's got jobs. There's some kids involved. There's all sorts of stuff. It's hard to do it. So, but we have 2 records to pull from, so we can do a set.
And any talk of Her Nightmare.
No, there's not actually. Not really.
When you were talking before about, played in heavy bands, not for a while.
Yeah.
Most recent heavy band,
Aglo.
Aglo,
Yeah.
playing for me.
True. I got the sack, but I did play.
No, you didn't get the
No,
sack.
I didn't.
You're in the roster.
You're in the roster.
Yeah.
You might get the call
it's
up
gonna
again.
casual.
All it takes is one bit of COVID and I'm back in. Aglo.
You love the double kick at band practice.
Oh, I missed it. It was great. Aglo. But before that, the heaviest heavy band would have been Miles Away, which was sick. And now they're doing 20-year shows and stuff.
Yeah.
It was so good. Hoping that they come to Victoria soon.
That was an old pit as well. I went.
It would have been up in Sydney at Crowbar. Yeah.
Bit of fun.
But always got my ear to the ground on what's going on.
Get a line on some gigs.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, I mean, music sucks. What's dope is art, which is what you're about.
That's how I say it.
While we go, I'm always saying
I'm loving
this.
these new segues.
Some of the greatest segues in the game. I think this is what you were missing before, Aaron.
Yeah, I just needed you here to go.
Is these rough gear changes.
Yeah, the music sucks section of the previous podcast.
Glad we're done with that. Let's get to art.
So you got a big new show coming up.
I do. Well, but
It's a group show.
it is, yeah, technically it's a group show, but I was thinking about on the way here, we were talking, obviously we've talked about bands a lot on here, and I really have thought about my art career in inverted commas as, you know, it's essentially a band to me. Like the way I look at it, you're constantly like, okay, I'm going to put out a new release or like what have I done already that I can rehash a little bit or, you know. So I've done, you know, a lot of those things. My earlier art projects were smaller and they're kind of the demo, the EP. I've done, you know, guest vocals on a band bigger than myself. That would be working with Roan. Like there's all these kind of versions of running a band. And I ran, you know, when I was in bands, I was doing a lot of the backstage.
The dad.
Like, the band dad, the work. So I'm like, well, this is a great band. There's only one person in it and it's me.
Aglo, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, this latest show is sort of my new record, I guess. Should I explain what it is?
Explain what it is.
Please.
You put out a trailer,
A teaser. Yeah, a little teaser. See, well, that's what you would do if it was a band, right? A little
big things coming.
big things coming. Yeah.
Big things coming
Yeah.
soon. Announcement tomorrow.
Yeah, I couldn't find a whiteboard to draw a bunch of texted out like vocals, drums, whatever. But
to get that going.
no, so it's a group show. I was approached by the Immigration Museum in Melbourne, which is part of the museums network. So that's like Science Works, Melbourne Museum, Immigration Museum.
That's an insane sentence, by the way. I was approached by the Immigration Museum.
Yeah.
So from band shit to I was approached by the Immigration Museum.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty sick.
It was a great day. It was a great day. So, and this all sort of stemmed from a few years ago, my show that I made, which was a milk bar, Callum Preston's milk bar, based on the milk bar I worked at as a kid, which you can Google and see what that's all about. But they basically said, you know, we have this second story that we rotate roughly every 18 months, but post-COVID, it had kind of been a little bit forgotten and hadn't changed for a few years. And they said, we want to put on this group show and it's going to be called Joy. And the brief is colourful, joyful. That's it. Colourful and joyful.
It.
And you can put together, like, we want you to pitch us what you would do kind of thing. And so I didn't know who else was involved. They said there's going to be 7 artists in this, but we're, you know, taking submissions from people. And so I went into the meeting and I just printed out a bunch of photos of old video shops off Google. And I just sort of went in and they went, so what have you got? And I went, do you remember going to the video shop? And they all, like, I was thinking like, this could be interesting. And they went, yeah. Everyone went, oh yeah. And mine had a bin with like posters in it. You could get them 50 cents. And mine had, you know, if you didn't get there early enough, the one that you really wanted was gone. But, you know, it'd have the photocopied cover saying, sorry, I'm out. And blah. So everyone was kind of chip. And then they're like, sorry. We're getting distracted. Like, what? So what's the show? I was like, that's the show. You just,
That's it.
what you just did is what I want to create, is the people's own experience and memory of going to the video shop. So to which they said, cool, but still, what's the show? So I was like, well, I want to build a room that you walk through the door and you're in a video shop. Thousands of videos, ugly printed carpet, you know, dodgy air conditioner in the corner, TV playing stuff behind the counter, return slot, all the stuff. I kind of thought of it like, you know, if you wanted to experience the gold rush, you go to Sovereign Hill. If you want to go to medieval England, you go to Cryle Castle. And so it's like, where do you go if you want to experience
The Immigration Museum.
Yeah, going to the video shop. The Immigration
Sovereign
Museum.
Hill as a reference is great.
Yeah, exactly. Taking their customers away, going, no. Step into the nearer future.
That's too old, boring.
Yeah.
Boo, gold rush. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was my pitch. You know, I want to make this space. And my experience with the milk bar was that people come in, and when you give them an opportunity to be reminded of a place, not, you know, it's not a video shop based on any real video shop that existed, but we can only kind of squint and remember what that actually looked like.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find after Googling, they were really not as amazing as we kind of paint them in our mind. They were generally just a bunch of timber laminate shelves, white, dusty, dirty, whatever. So mine's like dialed up to 11, very colorful, very joyful, bright, but still rough around the edges because it's meant to be a lived-in, worked-in video store.
Because I think the idea of a video shop is, but people's memories of it are so dialed up because of, you obviously love movies and things like that. But I mean, you talked about kids wanting to be creators before, and it's like, I felt like when I was younger, every kid was like, I want to work in the video shop.
100%.
That was like the big thing.
And it was like, and if you did work in the video shop, you were like the sickest dude ever.
Yeah.
You would always get the hookups.
Yeah.
Getting porn when you're too young.
There was all of these things, and so all of the different people's stories about video shops, even though this is only just getting announced now. I've been working on this for 6 months. And so as I get more and more people involved, because I'm doing different parts of the project and I explain it to them, they're like, oh, mine had this. And there was a really cute girl that worked at mine, or like my older brother worked there. And, I looked old when I was younger and I rented all these R-rated movies and my mum dragged me down there and like kicked off and told them that they weren't to lend to me anymore, all this stuff. So, basically I'm kind of treating it as a short distance time travel. It's like video shop tourism. There's adventure tourism. There's, nature tourism. People go to Antarctica to be able to see penguins on an iceberg. It's like you can go down to 400 Flinders Street, hit up level 2 from February 29.
Walk past all the immigration shit.
Yeah. Well, the permanent immigration exhibition is brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But
that's not Callum's opinion.
Level 2 in the East Wing. So there's actually 7 different artists, and we were all given the same brief. All different artists of different.
Did anyone
disciplines.
else make a video shop?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, well, the DVD shop next door, really awkward. The Into Music. No, so actually, I didn't want to miss anyone's name. So Elias Alavi, Spencer Harrison, Nadia Hernandez, Nixie Killick, Jazz Money, and Becky Orpin. They're the other artists.
Great.
So each of us have a section, and it's basically you wander through different rooms. They kind of interlink, and everyone's sort of created something that is meant to spark joy in some way, and it does. So that's sort of basically the museum. The study that the museum did was that post-COVID, it was, I think, 76% of people surveyed said that joy was like an important thing in their life post-COVID. They sort of have put more emphasis on trying to feel good in general because it was dark times.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was dark. And I think people are actively making an effort to sort of try to do that. And also the world is not a good place.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolute shit.
We're not going to solve any of that here, I don't think. But, as much as you can't just ignore what else is going on, like you've got to try to balance your scales a little bit and do things for yourself. And for some people, that's looking at art, and for some people, it's going to see live music, all these different things. So
it's a hard thing to, get into. It's just like, I got to work on getting more joy happening. Like it's not. It sounds silly, but it is something that it's hard to like. Yeah, but I think
totally
you have to.
Well, yeah, definitely. So I'm hoping that and I've personally, I was going to do it anyway. They approached me about doing something. I pitched it to them, and they said, "Cool, we're still reviewing everyone's. Don't start on anything yet." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no worries." I had
already building shelves.
I had 600 VHS tapes in my van within 2 days. I'd been on Gumtree. Actually, I have a good story about so videotapes aren't as easy to come by as you imagine these days. A lot of op shops don't take them because they just take up room, and valuable ones, cult horror and stuff. They sort of hold value, and they
in people's collections.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're kind of gone. Gumtree, people have sort of groupings, but I probably sourced, I have about 3,000. I sourced them from probably, 30 to 40 different areas, like different, whether that's op shops or marketplace. So I went on marketplace. I found this person. He was selling a bulk lot of tapes, like nearly 1,000 tapes. And he wanted a lot of money for them. And I was like, I'm trying to get my per unit price right down. And I wrote to him and said, hey, this is what I'm looking at. And he said, there's some in here that are worth a bit of money. I've looked at them on eBay. I said, great. If you want to try to sell them off individually, let me know, because I'll take everything that's left. Like I'll take the bulk lot. I couldn't even see what they were, but it was photos of shelves and shelves full of them. Yeah. And he said, they were my grandpa's. He passed away years ago. My grandma's moving out, and we've just got to clear them out. He used to buy them when they went on sale at the shop up the road and wherever. Okay, cool. So then he messages me a few months later and he's like, hey, I've sold off a few. I've got like 800 here. You can have them for that price. Great. So I went down, took my van, had a bunch of boxes. It's a really hot day. We go in. His nan is there. She's lovely. I mean, his nan was like my mum's age. She was I was like, this guy's nana's coming out. And she sprung out. She's in Lululemon. Hey, how are you? Okay, cool. So she comes and, do you guys want a drink? And, thanks so much, for helping out and blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's fine. And she said, yeah, he just, he loved his movies. But since he's been gone, I haven't really, haven't thought to move him. But now I've got to move. The house is too big. Great. So we go upstairs. It's like a beautiful old kind of house. And we go upstairs and it's a whole hallway and a whole bedroom. And the bedroom has a big TV in the corner and a big reclining chair. And it's videos everywhere. Crazy boxes. They're all stacked and not in any real order. We go, okay, sweet. And this kid is probably 22. And he's like, all right. So we get all these boxes open. All right, we'll just start here. So I grab the top row and they're like triple deep, like big old filing shelves. I pull a big chunk out of the first thing, pour it in the box, turn and look, and it's all porn behind there. Like, it's all porn on the top shelf. And then I take the second one out. It's all porn on the second shelf behind there. So there's, of the 800, it's about 250 pornos.
That's a fair percentage.
Yeah.
Nan's sitting there just going, fuck.
Also, the kid just goes, yuck, gross. And I go, oh man, look, I don't really have a use for these because what I knew at that stage that I was going to be doing it in the museum, and I can't have porn in there because kids come in there, and we had that discussion because I was going to do a porn section because the old video shop had it, but we kind of came to the agreement. There's school groups that come through, we're not going to do it. Okay.
No porn in the immigration museum.
Yeah. So I said, look, man, I don't really have it. And he goes, just please take that. And I was like,
you got to do me a solid here.
Okay, cool. And so his grandma's coming up going, do you guys want water? He's like, no, Gran, no, we're fine. And so she's like, oh yeah, okay. And I load them all up and then we put more in. So they're all, in boxes, whatever. And so we're about 3/4 done and she comes up and she's like a little bit emotional about it all and moving out. It's big feelings. And she's like, I love my garden here. It's semi-sad to leave the house. I'd be out in the garden and he just loved his movies. He'd be up here all day watching movies. And I'd say, oh yeah. And she's like, he'd stay up late at night watching movies.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
And the grandson is just like, kill me now.
Yeah. But that's sick.
Yeah. So that was a cool little adventure. But yeah, I met some characters buying meeting in car parks, buying Gumtree videos and
must have been like all sorts. Like I guess I guess everyone would kind of have videos are kind of hard to come by now. Like everyone has a stack of DVDs they're still hanging on to or something like that. But I feel like videos I know that my folks have a small collection of videos.
And it was weird because at home VHS was pretty expensive. I remember when I was a kid, you wouldn't really buy.
And they were just such a bulky thing too. Compared to DVDs, the amount of, I remember the same thing. Like we had a ton of videos at home, but it was like, they were one of those things that like when you were grown out of something, mum was like, that's gone right away.
I'll tell you, Star Trek, heavy in the VHS scene. There's heaps around. And like every week I'll get texts from people who send me, Nathan from Born Free, recently was just like, I guess I posted a bunch of photos of Rowan from Extortion brings me Star Trek stuff to every band practice. And Nathan sent me pictures of like just videos, books, all this stuff. And I was like, where is all this? And he was just like, I'm just at an op shop, man. There's just a shitload of Star Trek stuff. Totally. It's the IKEA of videos. It's just just
everywhere.
The Anko of VHS.
It's quite popular.
Yeah.
I don't know if
it is.
They made a lot of it.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think on those videotapes, there would be like 3 episodes. Like
Yeah.
that's the other problem with videotapes.
But
is
we
they
also-
don't go for that long.
We had a lot of at home, home recorded this style video
Yeah.
where so it'd be, and you were you're getting like, oh, well, it's the grand final. And then at X amount of minutes, it's
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's. And then there's also do you remember when they used to do, when Michael Jackson videos would come out and they'd do a special,
Yeah.
the extended version of
channel
black or
Yeah,
white,
yeah.
like put that on there.
I remember we had something like my dad had this video player where it would record double the length, but it was like the quality wasn't as good.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
would
yeah.
tape all my favorite videos off Rage and like had a like greatest hits tape.
Yeah.
Rage was the biggest one for me,
Yeah.
taping stuff. Because
Well, it's
I
a
would just
mixtape essentially.
and then you would just tape every band or whoever host their whole episode.
Yeah.
One of the craziest Rage things that I can't believe is, still up there. Down, the band,
Yeah.
their biggest song, the music video that's on YouTube, is ripped from Rage. And it's uploaded by the Down
official
YouTube account.
Yeah, look, I don't think Down's hard drives are really that in order.
Well,
yeah.
They're like, we've got the raw MPEG file.
But it's like full. What's the aspect
yeah,
ratio?
4:3
Like,
squashed in with a little white title in the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah. And I was like, every time I see, when I'm on the couch, 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
got to get that Down video
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Every time I'm like, it's Rage. It's the Rage text.
Well, I remember, early days of downloading music videos, like
Yeah.
through a Napster or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
When it first was like files instead of MP3s,
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I've downloaded a Blink-182 video off Rage.
Yeah, yeah, great. It's exact. But so like the home tape stuff was one thing, and then you could go to Kmart and stuff and buy Jumanji, buy to own, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like $30 or something.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
it wasn't cheap.
pretty exy. So renting was the go because you could just every week, and then as things, you could watch the classics cheaper because they became weeklies and all this sort of stuff. So all of this is to say, like, my shop is not a shop. You can't rent from there. You can't buy from there. It's about the experience of like going back to the video shop. And I think that the few people that have seen it so far as I've been working at lighting techs and stuff,
Awesome.
I've been having lots of meetings with, people because the museum has a whole network of AV guys and whatever. And I just keep rocking up for these meetings. Oh, cool. Yeah. So the light, and the guys will go in and go, yes. Whoa. And it's like a 10-minute conversation before we get into anything.
That's great.
And they go, so why did you? And it's like, yeah, I don't really know, man. But I guess this experience you're having is why.
Yeah.
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 And was getting the tapes the hardest part?
It was like hard, but objectively, like,
Sounds fun.
driving to op shops,
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
like sort of going around, or like going to garage sales and going, oh, how much for the videos? And they go, 50 cents. And then you're like, you got any more? And they're like, yeah. And, I got all this Star Trek. Okay.
Yeah.
But
What-
getting double ups as well, a lot of double ups, a lot of A Knight's Tale that seems to pop up a lot.
Huge.
Every box had
Big flick in Australia.
big flick in Australia,
Our Heath.
and right at the crossover of DVD to VHS.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that they backed VHS for the market
this-
at the
And
time.
it's
This
a great
disc-
movie. It's got modern day music,
Yeah.
but it's like horses and shit.
Yeah,
We Will
it's
Rock
Crowell
You.
Castle.
Yeah.
It is Grail Castle.
Yeah, so a lot of that, a lot of like romance definitely is the topic that had the most. Yeah, I've got 11 Titanics. I've got
Of course.
no,
Double tapes?
no, just nuts, long form single tape. But
I think the one I had when I was a kid was
a lot of
double
doubles
tape.
for TV shows.
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely fabulous.
sick.
Those cases were a nightmare. That double.
Huge.
Yeah, I hate them, and I've just cut them out. I've rewritten history on that. The only double that's in there is a Hawthorn Football Club Premiership and
Thanks.
like best
Awesome.
of thing. Yeah.
What's the did you get anything that you were like, this is sick as hell, I'm keeping this afterwards?
Yeah, I mean all of them.
Yeah.
No, there's heaps of sick ones.
I can't imagine you throwing any of this out afterwards.
I gave you 4 sick AY videotapes, didn't I?
You did, but I will say they're not Canon because they're cardboard sleeves. So we're doing plastic sleeves only, like hard case plastics. But I've got a Weekend at Bernie's 2. It's pretty sick. He's still dead.
Yep. Dead again.
Not decomposing.
There's actually some cool. So Orange County with Jack Black.
Oh yeah.
The cassette itself is bright orange.
Yeah, sick. That's
And
cool.
like Men in Black 2, the cassette is neon green.
That's awesome.
Love
And
that.
That shit's sick. Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially a vinyl pressing on
Yeah.
on splatter.
Yeah. That's cool.
So there's some cool ones like that. The big chunky kind of, they're called clamshell cases, the more bubbly plastic ones. Like I've got a City Slickers in mint condition.
Fuck yeah.
That kind of stuff, which to some people they go, oh, and this is, I'm not about that, like what's worthwhile and collecting it. It's the sum of all its parts. Walking in there and there are thousands, so many, like, you know, the old Westerns and the old, you know, The King and I and these musicals and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
They would kind of fill that whole section that I never gave a shit about when I was a kid.
No way.
But I'm like, well, it's got to be there though. And then the weird documentary section that is docos, and then one of them's a 3-hour long magic eye puzzle video that you can just put your nose up to the screen and watch it. Yeah. I've got, you know, like improve your family's life with massage. These like instructional videos on
what was that board game with
Abs
the
of
video?
Steel. Nightmare.
Man, that used to freak me out.
Oh yeah.
Were you with us when we played at that time?
No, I wish.
Phillip Island?
I would have run away.
Duck's got one.
And he's like, maggot.
But we were like, when it finished though, you can't play the game again. Because once you've played it once,
you know what's going to happen.
You know what's going to happen.
One time only. Well, I've never played it. So.
Maybe that's a new every week you do a stream of you in the
new people
in the thing. Yeah, new instructions.
New people play Nightmare. I got a Star Trek one recently.
Video.
A Star Trek video board game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rowan brought it to band practice, but he was like,
"I like that this is your rider for being
the beauty of no one to go works in an
op shop." Is just having give you stuff. But no, it's like I mean, I guess it's the exact same premise, but it's essentially it's like a
engage.
Yeah, it's a Klingon like yelling at you, and I guess you're like the captain of a ship, and he's on the big screen, and you have to then make the decisions, and then you go back to him, and he'll either like, you know.
Yeah,
he's obviously only telling you one thing though.
I'm exposing my non-Star Trekness, but the dudes that have like the weird crumply
that's
forehead,
a Klingon.
That's a Klingon. Yeah. So I think I might have told you this before.
We're gonna get letters.
Don't come at me.
My Trek.
The Trekkies. But I have this memory of going to a sleepover at my friend's house, and his parents were going out, and his older sister was looking after us, and they were going to a dress-up party, and I'm assuming it was probably a 40th by I'm like 10. And his dad comes in from the garage, and the Klingons are quite brown.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
a lot of brown face.
So
in
he's
old Trek.
he's browned up his face. He's not a brown man necessarily, but he's gotten the like the COVID masks, but the sort of hard shell one that have the ridges in it.
Oh yeah.
He's spray painted one of those brown, and he's just put it across his forehead to create the wrinkles. And he's come in and he's got a maroon thing or what. Yeah. And I mean, I'd never even seen the show. I knew exactly what it was right away. And it's just
I mean, that's quite smart though.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Would
you say that kind of inspired you?
yeah.
to make things?
Yeah, I'd say yes. Yeah. No.
One of the great Klingon characters is Doc from Back to the Future.
Yes, I do know this.
Yeah.
Yes, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Also the bad guy in Dennis the Menace, which is available in the store. But I should say the store's called Callum Preston's Videoland. I didn't just start making a store. I designed I opened a business. Like full visual language, branding.
That's so sick.
Business cards, letterhead, giveaway pens.
Invoice
statements, pay slips, membership cards to be laminated. You can come in. I'm going to be running it one weekend a month during the period. I should say it's going to be on for 18 months. So it's quite a long show.
Yeah.
So
when does it open again? Sorry.
Opens 29th of February.
Okay.
And it runs at the moment till August 2025, which if the earth is still spinning then, we'll be there.
We'll be there making laminated cards.
So yeah, you can come in, you can get a membership card. I've made, branding stickers for all of those cassettes have been relabeled with my $2 weekly, $6 overnight, with barcode warnings, anti-theft device, a thing on the back that says the address of where it belongs, be kind, rewind, all this stuff. I've written and recorded a jingle.
Fuck yeah.
We've got a little sample of the jingle on the teaser.
Yeah, that's the beginning. I'll play you guys off air. By the time this comes out,
You'll
I'd
be
say
able
it'll
to
be
see
live.
it.
There's a full video accompanying the jingle happening.
That's so sick.
I've recorded a FBI style warning about have you ever received a video that wasn't quite right? Because all these things are copyrighted, so I couldn't actually use the real ones. I've been in touch with like the Film and Sound Archive about getting footage, and there was licensing issues, and I wanted to play movie trailers in the thing. There was licensing issues. And so I've just gone my own route, and I've created all my own original content for it. So shooting a video about pirate videos, having voiceovers done for all that stuff. So it's been like really fun. I've gone all in, but I'm like, when else am I going to open a video shop?
It's a massive project. It's huge.
It's so sick.
Yeah. And it's like, I want people to come in, and even if they're like, what's the point? They can't deny there's a lot of work in it.
You either get it. If you don't get it, get out.
Yeah, if you don't like it, it's not for you, and that's cool. But there's also 6 other great artists in there. You can It's cost of entry at the museum is $15. Kids are free, and coming into the Joy part of the exhibition is included in your entry. And there's a whole other 2 floors of
$15 for Joy. That is a bargain.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, you can't get Joy for much better than that.
No, exactly.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome.
You guys seem pretty joyful, but we've got plenty to go around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in celebration of your show, I think it would be only right
here at Joy FM.
Joy FM. Well, you got to say Joy FM because there's Joy. I think I don't know what is it. Joy FM. One is like a really right wing religious radio network, and Joy FM something is like
it was like Melbourne
LGBT,
queer radio, right? Yeah.
So they don't like being mixed up.
No.
And I mean, I wish I
the
could.
secret sound very different.
Yeah, the secret sounds. Yeah, it's quite full on. But I think it would be only right to talk about our favorite 5 weeklies.
Please.
Like, what are we renting? I think that'd be a bit of fun. Well, Aaron, do you want to kick us off with yours?
Yeah. So mine started today by trying to think about what was the thing I reckon I saw most on VHS throughout my childhood.
Yep.
And the thing that would not leave my mind was the film Surf Ninjas.
Amazing.
Now that combines the art of martial arts with the board.
My 2 great interests.
Yeah.
Which I think actually comes from the fact that my dad is obsessed with surfing and is a Taekwondo black belt.
Is that a like Toxic Avenger adjacent film? Is it Trauma?
No, it's a kid's film.
No, it's a kid's film.
Oh, it's like, is it 3 Ninjas adjacent?
Yes, big time.
Okay, right.
I think it's right around the time of 3 Ninjas Going Psycho that they decide to do this.
Ninja stuff was so big then. Do you remember there'd be videos where they're like, a ninja class knocked down a house? Like they demolish a whole house and stuff?
My recollection of this movie, the 3 big things I remember from this movie are Rob Schneider's in it.
Yep.
It's a kid's movie, but Rob Schneider is like the adult dummy. Mm-hmm. The bad guy is Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, you're right up your alley.
Which rocks.
Yeah.
And
he's 102 years old at the time. Yeah.
And then the last thing, which I couldn't really remember the specifics of, so I had to look it up today, but it's like a collab film with Sega, and it was like it was like an advertisement for a game that was going to be released about the movie.
Right.
So throughout the thing, there's just so much product placement for like Sega stuff, which again, for me now as an adult is like one of my favorite things is like thinking about how they would like so badly try and shoehorn like, oh, we got to do this thing. Better grab the Sega Mega Drive real quick.
Yeah. It's like the Power Glove in the Wiz. Yeah.
So that was my first one. Yeah. And from there it spiraled out into other ones. But I remember getting that one like every time I went to a video shop. And like obviously I grew up overseas. When I was overseas, it was the video shop experience of Australia was very different in in the places that I lived, to the point where like often you would have such a smaller selection of movies you could watch because they wouldn't be in English.
Yes, I was going to ask you if they were dubbed.
Oh yeah, a lot of times it wouldn't
do the voice. No.
It wouldn't tell you it was dubbed, and then you'd get home and you'd just be like, "Oh great, I can't watch this."
Like
But
I know all the words to Ghost.
yeah. But for whatever reason, Surf Ninjas was like always available, no matter what.
They didn't budget to
The Chinese find it disrespectful.
Yeah.
No one's renting it. Number 2,
Number 2 was Mortal Kombat.
classic.
Callum,
No, that's Street Fighter is what you think.
yes. Sorry. Yes.
But again, I don't know. So the other thing too, I found out when I did this, all of my ones are from the same window of 91 to 94. So I guess that's my like
Peak video time.
watching time.
Yeah.
Which is, anyway. But
You also can't do a lot. Like,
yeah.
depending on your age, like you kind of don't have, and you were overseas too. So
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't roaming the streets.
No. So Mortal Kombat was a big one. I think, again, my dad likes like martial arts. So he was like down for like anything violent, he couldn't give a shit. Just go watch it. Then in hindsight, like there's a lot of stuff in Mortal Kombat that's like definitely not for kids. But
Right.
and the video game certainly was not.
Who's the lead in Mortal Kombat? Is it someone famous?
There's no one really super famous in it.
No, what's that French guy, Highlander? He's Raiden in it.
Yeah.
He's also, I think this is true. Might be talking out of turn here, but
Christopher Lambert.
Okay.
Bring him up.
Bring him up.
He, I'm pretty sure he's like almost legally blind.
Really?
Yeah, and like a big thing about his acting is that like he's got no idea where that camera is. Like you just got to get him.
Act natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Mortal Kombat, that was another big one. This is just the order in which I put them, but this is probably the most rented for sure. Ace Ventura 2.
When Nature Calls.
When Nature Calls.
Yeah.
First one.
Cannibal Corpse cameo?
No, that's
No,
the
that's
first
one. Okay, right.
First one I think is arguably, it's obviously one of the GOAT flicks.
Yeah.
Ridiculous shit. The second one though is like they clearly got so much more money because it's filmed overseas.
Yeah.
The whole thing's like it's set in Africa.
Jim Carrey's on the star is on the rise.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
massive at this point. The whole
Somebody could not stop him.
no. Like a glove, baby.
Yeah.
He,
Not a reference from that movie. Just true. But yeah, you're right. It totally, they were just like, do it again, Jim.
yeah,
Let's
and they
go.
were like, give him $200 million.
Yeah.
Let him go. Like, yeah, there's crazy shit in that movie. But anyway, that was number 2. Number 3 rather. And number 4, which is still within the same vein, which still to this day is like probably ridiculous, one of my favorite movies. Naked Gun 2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
I've got 33 1/3 in the store. I don't
Yeah.
have 2.5 though.
So recently, when we were kids, somewhere we bought an original like print poster for it.
Yep.
Like and my mum was cleaning up her house and was just like, "Whose is this?" And it was my little sister Ellie's, and she was like, "Ellie, do you want this?" And Ellie's now a grown woman, and was
Yeah.
like, "I do not want the Naked Gun 2.5 poster."
What a loser.
But I was like,
Idiot.
I was like, "Bring it down, mum. You better,
Sorry, Ellie.
better
Ellie's
put that
lovely.
up." So Naked Gun 2.5.
So you've got that in your house now.
got that up, right up there.
Did you have to take down an I Hate God banner to fit that up?
Something fell off the wall, I think, and we've replaced it. Duck was like, put it up. And I was like, when she said put it up, I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
I was so shocked
Blue,
that she was ready for
blue
it.
and pink. Am I
So it's
imagining that?
him
Legs apart.
legs apart
Yeah.
on 2 guns.
Yes.
Like he's like flying
not
2
unlike
guns.
Ace Ventura when nature calls.
Yeah.
On 2
Yeah.
crocodiles.
On 2 crocodiles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
something in that.
It's a nod to
If
that.
only we had the video thing
Bring it
going.
up.
Bring it up.
Bring up the thing.
Very
All right.
good.
And then my last thing, I made like a bit of a compilation, which might be a cheat. But before I get to that, I just wanted to note as well, not one of my 4 previous films has a rating above 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. So everything I liked when I was a kid sucks ass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's simply not true of Naked Gun 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the
that
critics
is-
will have their say.
Yeah.
That's objectively hilarious.
Absolute dogs. And then the last thing, which was probably more when I got to Australia because it wasn't on TV as much here or as readily available, was any WWE wrestling videos.
Oh, yeah.
So like
The
all
Manias,
the pay-per-view.
WrestleManias,
Yeah,
yeah.
WrestleMania, Royal Rumbles, all those, because you couldn't watch, I at least couldn't because I didn't have Foxtel, like couldn't watch any of the pay-per-view ones when I moved to Australia.
Yeah.
So I was like, how the fuck am I going to watch these things? And then obviously I'd have to wait until it came out on video, which would be a full year after it was on TV.
And like
Video
back then, we were very behind.
Oh, yeah.
in stuff.
But the video shop had the
All the
OGs.
old ones. Yeah.
So
I'd go in and I'd go in and hire like the 4 Royal Rumbles in a row and then go home and watch
you're
them.
essentially watching Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my weeklies.
Very strong
Nice.
selection. Yeah. Do you want to go next? You want me to go?
I'll quickly bang mine out.
Yeah.
The big one is Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah.
My dad
huge.
had this on video, and my dad was a big surround sound guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And when I was younger, I had to leave the room when he would show off the surround sound of the opening of Terminator 2.
Was that his choice, the opening?
Yeah, because it had full Dolby thing,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it sounded sick. And I guess that was the start of like having 5.1 surround sound.
An obsession we
We
have not got
share,
over.
Yeah,
the truck blasting into the LA River, the noise in surround sound.
it's
Yeah.
so sick. I remember the first time him and I watched it together.
Yeah.
It blew my head off.
So good.
It's the best movie ever.
And another
made.
Sega product placement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Hacking the ATM.
Hacking it out. The other one is Three Fugitives.
Oh.
This is a Nick Nolte movie.
Yes.
And it's Nick Nolte, Martin Short, and they have a little gal that they're trying to save. But I just remember this being part of it's also got, it's a remake of a Gerard Depardieu film.
Really?
A French film.
Fancy.
I don't know if anyone's thought about this movie. I haven't thought about it since, but
I've
it's
never heard of it.
1989.
It's a real genre of the time. There was all those sort of like Another 48 Hours and Stakeout and
Oh, yeah.
3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah.
Curly Sue, these kind of like pseudo criminals with a child.
Simply do not make movies like this
No,
anymore.
no.
There's nothing like this now. But I remember having that as a stack of weeklies.
Yeah.
Another one was The Wizard.
yeah.
Fred Savage, the Power Glove.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the trailer for that so many times at the start of a lot of VHSs, and then finally watching it and going, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. It seemed more exciting in the trailer form.
Yeah,
for sure.
and that Nintendo glove thing looks
Yeah.
insane.
And I also remember thinking, because they go to a big tournament, right? And
Yep.
they play on the big screen.
Exactly.
And going, imagine. And now it's like
Normal.
at Docklands every 3 weeks, there's some sort of gaming thing.
Hacks or something.
Yeah,
or
one of those
other.
things. And it's like, they're content creators now. But
Oh, yeah.
if The Wiz was made now, it'd be about a kid who's got 1 million TikTok
Playing
followers.
Dota 2.
Yeah.
Formula One teams own like sports, like video game racing
Fuse
teams now.
FaZe Clan and all that stuff. Like
Well, they just made that Gran Turismo,
Gran Turismo
movie.
Yeah.
They're going the other way now.
The Wiz wouldn't be spruiking the glove, it'd be spruiking Surfshark VPN or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For Hot Shots 2, I feel like is a
Yeah.
classic. A lot of sequels in my list.
Yeah, I think
Sequels is the domain. Yeah. Hot Shots 2, just a classic. Bit of fun. Along the same lines as The Naked Gun. Don't really see...
Yeah. Major League. another
Major
one.
League, yeah.
Same kind of vibe.
they tried to kind of start making those again with like the scary movie.
There was a
That's-
time of it, but
that's
then they
when that-
kind of
Yeah.
ran it into the ground.
Well, they
with,
just
like,
went too hard.
Yeah.
I feel like, and and all of them were parodies. Like they were all like, I mean, Hot Shots was obviously a parody as well, but that it was like not as psycho. I don't know.
Yeah.
They fucked
But
it.
there's so many scenes in those movies that I saw that before I ever saw Top Gun.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it's
me
like,
too.
Of course.
There's all these sequences that I go, oh, that's cool.
It's like watching
It's funny,
the Simpsons for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Casablanca.
Citizen Kane. Oh, cool. Like, yeah.
And the last one is Drop Dead Fred. I feel
Very,
like that's a VHS
very
classic.
solid. That
yeah.
I do have a copy of that.
Rick Marl, absolutely
I actually
bonkers.
I really wanted that in the store, and I paid well above my going rate
Really?
just to get it in because I was like, gotta have it.
Gotta have it. You
Yeah.
can't go without that. I
there's
need to rewatch it. I haven't watched it for a long time.
There's a How Did This Get Made about Drop Dead Fred Paul Scheer podcast. I don't know if you're familiar, and it's such a deep dive, really, really good. And their analyses of like who he represents and who she is, and it's like, oh man, I think I need therapy after listening to this show. Like it's deep. It's deep.
Wow, that's great.
So my films, I sort of started feeling a little theme running throughout, which was, so I consider myself a skateboarder. I have always been a skateboarder. I still skateboard, Doesn't mean I'm good at it, but it's like a thing. And I loved that when I was a kid. And then I got a skateboard when I was 3, which seems very irresponsible at this stage. But I was walking very early, so I guess I had decent balance. And just humble brag there. So
I know how to walk.
But yeah, I was walking. So then Back to the Future hits.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, we're here. This is my people.
This is it.
So Back to the Future seems an obvious choice, but to be honest, I only rented Back to the Future, I think, a handful of times. We had a taped version off the telly at home because, it came out the year I was born. By the time it had kind of come to me watching films a lot, we already had a recorded version. So I would see it like an old friend in passing in the store and just salute, but I didn't need to rent it. So, but skateboarding in other movies was a big deal to me. So Gleaming the Cube, Christian Slater movie about skateboarding. It's like a murder mystery. There's weird gang stuff happening.
Right.
Pro skaters doubling Christian Slater, Mike McGill. Tony Hawk is in it. He drives a Pizza Hut truck. He's
Hawkman.
He's a delivery. Toner is a delivery truck driver. Shout out to Tony, podcaster himself.
We should have got him on.
We should have got him on.
He was just here.
He was.
Fuck.
Damn it. So Gleaming the Cube, great film. On to the back of that being Police Academy, Citizens on Patrol, which I believe is number 3. Could be number 2. No, it's not number 2. I reckon it's 3.
Yeah.
But
Isn't there like 7 of them?
yeah, it gets to Moscow by 8. Mission to Moscow. Anyway.
To Moscow.
But Citizen on Patrol, opening sequence about skateboarding. David Spade is the main guy in it.
Cool.
And he was actually doubled by Tony Hawk, who is a full 2 feet taller than David
of
Spade.
course.
So it cuts from David Spade to this giant wearing the same clothes.
Tony Hawk must be making some coin off residuals from like
Yeah, I hope so.
all this skateboard fill in he was doing
Yeah,
in
He's
the
got a
80s.
day rate.
Although he was just here doing a talking to us, so maybe he's still got to pay bills.
Yeah.
And I saw him doing
Keep
some
going
sort
through
of sports bet.
keep going through those
Cut it
divorces.
out, Tony. Yeah, well, that'll happen too.
Sorry, man.
But yeah, so Citizens on Patrol and Gleaming the Cube, 2 key skateboarding in film movies. And any skate nerd will tell you same thing for sure. So I'm not special in that sense. The Goonies and Grease were a similar path to Back to the Future. So I kind of combined them in. We would rent them for a while, but then we had a taped version and
Wild double feature.
yeah. One for me, one for mum. I feel like it was that sort of vibe. But I have an older cousin. They're like 10 years older than me. And one Christmas they came down and the wildest thing I've ever seen at that time. So I'm about, 8 or 10. My parents disconnect our VCR and we take it to my nana's house in Strathmore.
That rocks.
And my teenage cousin, or probably nearly 20-year-old cousin, rigs them together and goes, "What do you want to copy?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You can record."
That's the
duplicate.
coolest shit.
And
That's wild.
but you didn't move a TV back then. You move
Yeah.
a TV and you would find something from 2 decades ago.
Exactly.
Like the dust was this thick. So we moved it down there and that was like, well, let's go to the video shop. And so we're running videos through it. So I had all these like bootleg.
You were the pirate.
I was the problem. So I'd watch those titles at the start and I'd go,
The FBI is going to get me.
they're coming for me. But a real key one, and it's a little bit in the Three Fugitives corner of the world. Two movies, double feature, both featuring one Richard Pryor. Not appropriate viewing for a young child, just because. So him and Gene Wilder, See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Yeah.
Great.
Amazing movie.
Sick flick.
I believe there's even some nudity in it at one stage.
Definitely rated like PG or something.
PG,
as well.
but like
I'll just jump on Mr. Skin and check.
so Richard Pryor plays a blind guy.
Yep.
Gene Wilder plays a deaf guy. They're together and they get tied up in some sort of murder. Now they're the suspects and they're on the run.
Yep.
And so I think the blind guy ends up in a hotel room where the hot cop is naked or something. He can't see her and she thinks that the other guy's the blind guy, so she's walking around naked in front. Classic. And then the other Richard Pryor, there's actually 2 other Richard Pryors. So it's Moving, which is Richard Pryor and Dana Carvey.
Yep.
Incredible. But the real Richard Pryor feature, Brewster's Millions,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is
Classic.
Yeah, so that Brewster's Millions for some reason never made it to the Christmas bootleg party at my nana's house. We must have got
Too raunchy
we
for
got
Nan.
raided by then. But Brewster's Millions was always in the when you did the 10 for $10 or whatever, the weeklies, Brewster's Millions. So
That's huge.
and it keeps, you know, in this modern society where Mr. Beast turns up and gives people, you know, $20 million, but you got to spend it all. And if you, you know, it's happening. Brewster's
Yeah.
Millions seemed like a joke, but it's happening. The Hackensack Bulls, that's the baseball team that he plays for.
We are living in Bruce's Million reality.
Yeah. As referenced heavily by the Dollop, by Gareth Reynolds on the Dollop will often reference, this is a Brewster's Millions situation. So yeah, they're my weeklies. I reckon.
Great selection.
I think it'd be a great sleepover if we all bring what we've elected.
Bruce's Million is not available on any streaming service, but you can buy it from Microsoft for $4.
Really?
Oh, you can rent it.
Guess what? There's a VHS copy at level 2.
Full
Sick.
circle. Sick. That's a dope selection of movies.
Yeah.
The show sounds sick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm very excited for everyone to get to see it and to start sharing some visuals of it, because it's been in my iPhone is full of images of it and no one has seen it. No one knows about it. It's been top secret.
Can't wait.
Get them on the net.
Get them up there. And so give us that date again, the opening date.
So opening Feb 29, 2024. That's in a few weeks from now.
30 sleeps.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And it's a leap year.
It's a leap year. It's my wife's birthday the day before. She was nearly born on a leap year on the 29th.
Yeah, wow.
So I'd be married to a 8-year-old or something if that was the case. But yeah, we're opening then, and it's the museum's up in 7 days. It's $15 to get in, and it's going to be on for a time. I'm going to be posting a lot on socials about it as it goes on.
And and you get to see 6 different.
There's
Yeah.
Oh, 7,
seven
including
total.
you.
Yeah. And there's I've designed a range of merchandise and stuff as well to go with it, and there's just like, I don't know, good vibes around it. It's joyful.
Sick.
Great day in the CBD.
Oh yeah,
Get down there.
Get down to Union Kiosk, toasted sandwich in the city.
Head over to the aquarium.
Yeah, the aquarium. You could, win your Brewster's Millions across the river at the casino. Who knows?
Whip over the Crown.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to endorse that actually. Go down to the
Park
down to
a Crown
PAX.
though. Park a Crown though.
Park a Crown,
That's
yeah.
the hack.
Okay.
That's the thing I'm going to
Or
bring
get the
back
tram
to the
in.
podcast.
It's in the free tram zone.
It is in the free tram zone.
Or get the train, Flinders Street Station. Beautiful building. So,
Yeah.
head on down.
Well, Callum, thanks for coming down and chatting to us.
Thanks for being back, guys. I'm so excited that you're
worries.
back on the tools.
Happy to do it.
I'm glad that Ben's just basically running this for me now, which has made my life way easier.
I got the laptop in front of me.
Bring it up.
Get up.
Cool. Where can people find you if they want to have a squeeze, Callum?
Just my name, Callum Preston, at Callum Preston. You'll find me on
You got a website?
Instagram. Yeah, callumpreston.com. CallumPrestonsMilkBar.com. I just remembered that I'm also paying for that domain. So
It's tough.
it just got
Run the numbers up on that one for a
it
bit.
just came out. So yeah, I'm not going to make a dedicated website for this show. It'll just all be on one.
Get
But
on the Immigration Museum website.
Immigration Museum website has all the info about all the artists. And yeah, my socials will be constantly posting about this for the next 18 months. So if you want to mute me, now's a good time.
Great.
Thanks.
Sick.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Callum.
you guys.
Cheers.
Brutal.